There were two big reports right after the Bay of Pigs looking into it. One was the Taylor Commission, which was appointed by John Kennedy. Now, you would think that because John Kennedy appointed the commission and because Bobby Kennedy was one of the 4 members of it, that it would be particularly forgiving of John Kennedy. And it kind of was, but it was not very harsh on the CIA. I was surprised to find that out when I read it. Because the Kennedy administration publicly seemed to be trying to put all the, even though Kennedy came out and said, I am the commander-in-chief, and this in the end is all my responsibility. Really, everybody was leaking the story that the CIA had misled him. Yeah. But I'm amazed by the fact that Kennedy, in this, so the Taylor Commission then sort of gave the CIA a bit of a pass. They said, yes, indeed, CIA did mislead Kennedy, but they kind of put a little bit of blame on Kennedy, which was kind of extraordinary. But the report you're referring to was by Lyman.
That was Maxwell Taylor.
That was Maxwell Taylor, who later had been a general and then later became the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff under Kennedy.
And a big aficionado of going into Vietnam.
He was. Well, that's a whole other story of how all these people that were either got the United States into the Bay of Pigs, or then, like Taylor, investigated afterwards. Exactly the same folk that then rushed into Vietnam. Yeah. But that's a whole other. It's an interesting story. But this Kirkpatrick, Lyman Kirkpatrick, who was the Inspector General of the CIA, did write his own report, and it was much harder on the CIA. And it criticized every aspect of the operation. I think, when something fails, it's very easy to go back and say look at every single thing and say, well, everything that CIA did was wrong. It seemed a little unfair, and many people in the CIA thought that this was Kirkpatrick sour grapes, really, because his career had not advanced as far as he'd wanted it to, that he was sort of getting back at people like Richard Bissell. And that was put in a drawer by John McCone, who replaced Allen Dulles as the head of the CIA, and didn't come out many years later. And it's very harsh on the CIA. I don't think it's very fair. I think it's so harsh that it almost misses the point. I mean, it's criticizing the training facilities, the ships that they use. If the thing had worked in some way, nobody would be. It's kind of like, if you watch a football game, the commentators, if the team loses, it's everything wrong they did, and if they win, it's everything right they did. It's not really like that. There are wrong things and right things along the way.
This excerpt is brought to you by the Massachusetts School of Law, a leader of reform in legal education and a leader in multimedia education for the public. To view the full interview and for a full listing of MSL's programs, log on to mslaw.edu.
Welcome.